Cooking. It can be fun for some, but it's not for everyone. Dr. Seuss taught me that one. Growing up with two chefs as parents was a little influential on my cooking skill growing up. I got so good at it that I never cut myself once. Too bad you can't get oil burns in video games. Cooking in video games is one of my favorite things to do. Just something about preparing for a fight or a long journey by carefully creating meals is just so satisfying. You have to find the right ingredients to make the right food. You can't just toss things into a pot and expect it to go smoothly because, well, they're not. But not everyone wants to have a Hell's Kitchen level of cooking either, worrying about properly cutting at the right angle, using too much spice, all to try and make a burger that gives you a small attack buff, and then mess it up. And now, you've made a poison for some unknown reason. I feel like there's a fine line between the two. A little sweet spot that's not too simplistic and not too complicated. Zelda Breath of the Wild is almost that sweet spot. You find a cooking pot, light the fire if it isn't already lit, then you go into your inventory and pick up to 5 ingredients. Those 5 ingredients determine what the food will be, what effect will be given, whether it restores health or stamina, or etc. Many experienced players have actually got it down to a science, where they memorize a recipe that gives out a maxed out attack or defense buff for the longest time. Alternatively, you can also make elixirs using monster parts and insects, amphibians, reptiles, or other small critters that crawl around. Those elixirs typically give buffs stronger than food, but don't really heal unless you count the fairy elixirs. It hits the gray area of being too complicated and too simplistic with its cooking mechanic, but at the end of the day, it's still just a cooking pot that you're tossing those ingredients into. Thus, introducing Virtual Reality. Virtual Reality grants the ability to have a one-to-one cooking experience because the controllers are on your hands. Every movement and gesture is captured in a 3D space, giving the possibility to have a more immersive cooking experience. But cooking alone is boring. Video games are about one thing, escaping reality. Hence why I don't understand why people play sports games, but that's for another video. They're more about doing things that you normally wouldn't be able to do, while including things that we are already familiar with. So cooking alone in a game is just pointless unless there's a twist to it. Now then, what I would describe as a perfect cooking experience would be something out of a VR RPG type game. Think Sword Art Online, but without the cardboard-like personality of NPCs. There would be skills to develop through doing actions, such as cooking, fishing, hunting, mining, chopping wood, and, of course, cooking. As those skills would level up, more advanced attributes would make themselves present. Think of someone who has level 1 woodcutting and takes 25 swings to chop down a tree. And then think of someone who has level 50 woodcutting that takes 1 swing to chop down 3 trees. The same would be with cooking. The higher level you go, the more advanced recipes become free knowledge to you, and the cooking itself becomes more difficult. You go from simply chopping vegetables into a stew to chopping fruits and meats, skewering them, and then roasting them over a fire for a kebab. Now, again, not everyone has a super in-depth knowledge of cooking, which is where highlights would come in to assist. Whenever cooking something for the first time, a tutorial highlight would pop up and show the player how to properly cook the recipe they have selected. But after that, they would be on their own. No more hand-holding, just gotta practice it till you get it down. Obviously, it wouldn't be too complex, to the point where you need to cut at a certain angle or spice things to perfection, but simply knowing what the recipe calls for would be proper. Unfortunately, this is only a dream. I hope that maybe one day it'll be real. And if it does become reality, expect me to be broke funding it because that game will have all my money. Thank you all for watching, it means a lot. If you do like this form of content, let me know and I'll try to make more. Drop a comment if you want me to tackle something else of this variety. Take it easy.